I noticed a very interesting thing over the weekend, which is that stories about Donald Trump's apparent confusion and cognitive decline seem to have gone far more mainstream. Mediaite had an interesting piece here. Trump is again confused. Trump mixes up who is president during speech. Media calls him out. And indeed, the article outlines these moments that Donald Trump has been having where he consistently and regularly misidentifies Barack Obama as the current president of the United States. He recently referred to Viktor Orban, the leader of Hungary, as the leader of Turkey. He repeatedly has said that Hungary shares a physical border with Russia. It does not, and on and on and on. And so the story of Trump's confusion and possible cognitive decline has now gone mainstream. And in fact, Jonathan Karl from ABC News has talked about this. Maggie Haberman has talked about this. ABC's This Week has talked about this. So there are more and more of these stories. But it's not just in corporate media that the Trump cognitive decline story is getting attention. It is also now getting attention among Donald Trump's rivals. Now, before I talk about this, there's a Washington Post piece, Trump's rival seize on opportunities to challenge his acuity. I do think it's important to mention that I don't believe that it is new that the people running against Trump have an opinion about Trump's cognition. Let me explain what I mean by that. I don't know deep down whether Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or whoever think Trump is fine cognitively or think Trump has lost it cognitively. They may, I don't know. My point is, I don't believe that that's changed over the last 3 months. What has changed over the last 3 months is the fact that they now see probably no path to securing the Republican nomination. And as a result, these Republican rivals to Trump are coming up with, what could I say? What can I try to make some headway in the polls? Some of them are now willing to say, maybe Trump isn't quite with it. And the article refers to a number of people. Nikki Haley, speaking to a group of Jewish Republican donors, mocked Trump, saying he seems confused about which are our allies and which are our adversaries. The Biden campaign has also started stepping up its posts about these various verbal gaffes and different things. Ron DeSantis has alluded to this by talking about how it's not the same Trump, something's different. He was, seemed fine in 2016 or 2020, but now something has changed. Whether this is a real issue or not, and I don't pretend to diagnose on this program, what I do is I observe and I report. Trump has a history of this. Rudy Giuliani sitting right in front of him and Trump looking around, goosenecking. Where is Rudy? Trump saying Melania really wanted to be here, and Melania is, sitting one person away from Donald Trump. Trump coming down from Air Force One, looking for his plane and wandering off and having to be brought back by the elbow by a Secret Service agent. And of course, the constant verbal gaffes and glitches. Could it be stress? Sure. Could it be a side effect of a medication? Maybe one that Trump hasn't disclosed that he's taking? Absolutely. Could it be a cognitive issue? 100%. The important story is the following. In the same way that James Comer says Joe Biden moving money, loaning money to his brother is suspicious, and then getting the money back requires an investigation, James Comer did the same thing. So if that requires an investigation of Biden, then it requires an investigation of Comer. And similarly, if your big argument against Joe Biden is he loses his train of thought or he seems to be suffering from cognitive decline or whatever, if that is your argument against Joe Biden, then you have to explore the same argument against Donald Trump. Now, I'll tell you, for me, this isn't really an issue. Let's imagine for a moment they both are struggling cognitively. Joe Biden is going to have a team around him, as he does now if he had a second term, that is going to be sober and productive and effective, much like they have been during the first term. Trump, whatever his cognitive state, if he gets another 4 years, is going to have a team around him that is going to be yes people. In his first term, Trump at least initially picked a few sort of normal people, Rex Tillerson, etc. These people were washed out when it became clear that they weren't going to just do whatever Trump said. Trump will be completely unrestrained in a second term. And demented or not, Trump is going to put total loyalists around him who will do anything he tells them to do. He will weaponize the DOJ. He will do all of it. So let's assume either or both are struggling with cognitive decline. It doesn't change the fact that Biden is obviously the right choice over Donald Trump. So it'll be interesting to see to what degree Republican candidates talk about Trump's cognitive state as we close in these last few weeks before the voting starts. It will be interesting to see to what degree corporate media does the same. But after this weekend, the story going mainstream. As many of you know, I spend a lot of time working on the show, doing research, preparing for interviews, filming the show. And when I need just a quick and easy snack during a break, I love whipping up instant ramen noodles, low maintenance. But ramen noodles have never been known to be the healthiest thing in the kitchen. Our sponsor, Immi, has changed that. Every pack of Immi ramen noodles has only 6 grams of net carbs, up to 21 grams of protein. That's 3 times more than traditional brands, helps you feel fuller longer, and 18 grams of fiber, which is great for gut health and digestion. The best part is it tastes better than any other instant ramen you've ever had. 6 delicious flavors. These are all vegan. Black garlic chicken, it's vegan. Spicy red miso, spicy beef, vegan. Pork tonkatsu, vegan. Immi is a fun and tasty instant ramen experience like you're used to, with more to offer nutritionally and without all the carbs. Having Immi around will keep you from going for the junk food. Go to immieats.com/Pacman5. Use the code Pacman5 for $5 off. The link is down below.